This is the Cool Photo Tools Podcast, episode number 113, April 3rd, 2017.
Are you sick of trying to learn all the new photo software? Are you tired of hearing about the next big thing in photography? Well, neither are we. Welcome to Cool Photo Tools with Jay Pierstorff and Rhonda Spencer.
Today's episode is brought to you by Adorama.com. We're more than a camera store. LifePixel.com. Infrared camera conversions open up a whole new world of possibilities. And Topaz Labs. Bring your photos to life. Good morning, cool heads. My name is Jay Pierstorff, and with me again this morning is my co-host, Rhonda Spencer.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rhonda. Did you have a great week?
Busy week. My weeks are always busy.
So did you end up getting one of those Canon selfies we talked about last week?
Not yet, but it's still on my list. I said these podcasts are bad for me.
That's right, because you find out about cool photo tools on these.
I do, and I end up spending money. It's like, wow. It's like, I gotta have that.
That's right. So we got a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
A bunch of stuff coming up today.
Okay.
On the podcast. And do you ever use any Photoshop actions? You use you load them into Photoshop and they perform a series of steps that maybe are fairly complex, maybe something that you can make your own actions.
Right, which I have done before also, yeah.
You can do them, if you're doing something over and over again. But sometimes you can purchase actions, which are extremely complex and do things that would be hard to do otherwise. And there is a company.
Tedious to do, yeah.
Yes, well, very tedious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or just maybe beyond your skill level. Mm-hmm. They may have some tricks that you don't know about yet. So, but certainly they can save you time. They can create unique effects. They can really kind of take your stuff to the next level. So there is a company called Envato, E-N-V-A-T-O, and they are based in Australia. And they have a bunch of stuff. They've got multiple websites. They've got ThemeForest, which is for WordPress themes. They have Codecanyon, which is for programming code. VideoHive, which is stock video images. Audio Jungle, which is stock stock audio files like music and bumpers and sound effects and so on. And then they have Graphic River, which is... They have all kinds of graphic stuff, and plus they have Photoshop actions that you can buy as well. And plus they have PhotoDune, which is stock photos, and 3D Ocean, which is stock 3D models. If you have a 3D printer and you need some help finding some stuff to print out. Anyway, so I go through here and I browse these. Graphic River is kind of one of my favorite places. And I came across something the other day that I didn't really think, I didn't know about you. And what I'm talking about here is... animated GIFs or GIFs, depending on how you want to pronounce it. I've heard defendable ways, both ways of pronouncing it, so I'm just going to say GIF or GIF, and you pick the one that sounds better to you, or the one you think it should be. I think GIF is actually correct, although a lot of people say GIF. No, I think GIF is a peanut butter, but I don't know. It's not animated. Anyway, so we'll just go with animated GIF for now. We'll hope that one's right. If not, our listeners will let us know. So this is, let me switch over the screen here, those of you that are on our YouTube channel. And so this is the GIF animated ephemera Photoshop action. And so you put an image in here, and I'm going to scroll down here. So you start with an image like this. Let me zoom in a little bit on this. And then you mask off the area in Photoshop. So you're going to take a color brush and you paint over the area where the effect is supposed to occur, and then you run the action in Photoshop, and then see here, it's added all these colors and kind of the smoke effect and thing in here, and the cool thing about this action is it can generate an animated GIF.
Wow, that is cool.
Yeah. So this is showing a picture of a dancer in a static pose, kind of bent over with her arms out there, and fabric flowing around her. And then this kind of adds a smoke effect to it. and it's animating. So, and this is, and you can put this on any website just like you're seeing here on their website as well. So, all right, so now how much would you pay for that? Here's some more examples here. Static images look really good. You're starting out with just a basic image there. And here's the animated GIF. So again, if you're I'll link to this all in the show notes so you can take a look at these. But these are very cool, and these don't take much skill to do. They just, once you have the original photo, of course they're starting with a very nice photo, so that really helps. It helps if you start with a really good looking photo, and then you animate it by running it through this Photoshop action. You can create some really eye-catching results.
Have you tried this yet?
I have not tried this one, but I'm feeling I might after I look at this a little bit more. I'm like, dang, that is pretty cool.
That is very cool. Look good on one of your coyotes.
Well, everything looks good on a coyote.
They're showing mostly people.
Yeah, this is kind of a smoke effect. So the animation that's happening around this seems to be, they're using an image of sports dancers and athletes and whatnot, and then this kind of creates an ethereal smoke around them that can then be animated. So it's an eye-catching still, as is. Shows like it's kind of a lot of action, like they're moving so fast that they're turning to smoke. I don't know.
In fact, I think you've seen similar techniques on the Adobe website, just on their advertising.
Yes, it wouldn't surprise me. That could certainly be aimed into a video use. And there's some more. I have a bunch of these. I've got like 3 more actions I wanted to talk about. You want me to just keep going?
Yeah,
or do you want to intersperse them with stuff that you want?
Watch.
Okay.
There goes my pocketbook again.
Yeah. Oh, and I didn't talk about that. I think that was like $5, to buy that action.
That's not bad.
They're really, well, of course, once you on Photoshop.
Okay, so let's give everybody the website again.
Okay.
Because I want to
so
go on
this
and
is
look
at
too.
graphicriver.net. And we are actually affiliates, so if you go to the coolphototools.com website and then just click on the just
That's easy for you to say.
apparently not. Just click on the Graphic River icon at the very bottom of the screen. It will take you to their website, and then you can. What you want to do is you go over here to you go to Add-ons, and then down the menu to Photoshop, and this is a Photoshop add-on, actually a Photoshop action. So the next one I wanted to show you on here. This one is called the Animated Rain Photoshop action. And this is where sometimes you need rain. I own this one, and I've used it a couple times. Sometimes you need to make a moody scene into a rainy scene. And who wants to stand out in the rain when you could do it this easy? All right, so it shows you here basically what you do is you create a new file, and you can put any image, and you can set it as a background, and then you play the action, and it adds the rain. But you can also make this as an animated version. And you can see, look at there's little raindrops bouncing off.
Oh, there really is. That's pretty cool.
This is a baseball player, and he's standing out. He wasn't standing out in the rain, but he is now after this action. And you can see the raindrops are actually splattering and bouncing off the top of his bat and off of his helmet.
So it looks very realistic. That's pretty cool.
Is that really cool? Here's some more. Here's a football player. This is the before image up here at the top. He's just, he's catching a ball, and he's standing out. There's no rain. And then after the image, there's a nice diagonal hard rain coming down, and see where it's hitting his helmet. It's making a little splatter. It looks very realistic.
It does.
And here it is animated.
Wow.
Now how much would you pay?
You can tell me this is $5 too.
This is $5.
This sounds like one of those TV commercials. $5? $5?
Yeah.
Wow, that is cool. And that is very realistic looking.
Okay, and so this is a color photo, and this is showing
a park bench.
A park bench. Yeah. Now, and you can see the ground; it's completely dry. So they just took a picture of this bus stop bench or a park bench, has kind of wooden slats on it, and they added the GIF animated rain Photoshop action, and the rain is hitting the bench and is making little splatters here and there. Now, the nice thing about these tutorials is that they also, there's some things you can do besides it doesn't, how would it know where to hit and splatter? So you're going to have to tell it that, right? And there's tutorials there's YouTube tutorials that come with these that you can go through, and it tells you step by step how to get these results. This is not going to be for everybody, for everything, but it's pretty cool.
It's clever.
Here, if you actually have a picture that's actually taken out in the rain, it looks very convincing. You can take a still, and you can control it. Here, you can control the direction of the rain. It says there's 10 color effects, and you can make the small splash of the drops, or you can make the big splash of the drops. And here's the video guide. So don't you want to know how it works? And we'll link to this in the show notes. Have I got time for a couple more?
Yeah.
Are you intrigued? Have you spent your money yet?
I am. I love stuff like this. You know me in software. It's like, it's my favorite stuff.
Okay, now this one's going to go up a bit in price.
Okay.
All right, this next one we're going to talk about, this is $6.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
I know.
Okay, and this one is the GIF Animated Fog Photoshop Action. So let's see here if I can get this on the screen. There it is. All right. And
it's cheaper than buying fog in a can.
it is cheaper, and it's a lot more controllable, I think, too. Well, maybe not. All right, so you open an image, and then you draw a mask, in Photoshop. Or
okay, so question for you.
Yep.
What is the green lines doing?
Okay, the green lines, I don't know. I don't own this one. Generally, there is a couple of
Makes me
adjustments.
wonder if it's directional. Okay, switch back
So
over so we can see it.
Yeah, so they've got two masks in here. They've got one, which is the area
girl.
that you want. Yeah, that you want. You're putting a red mask over the main subject. You're saying this is my foreground, and this is the background. And then there's some other green lines that are racing around through here, and I think that's the area that they want the action to occur. Yes, that it is.
Yeah,
Okay,
it
so
is.
this one is a fog effect. So the green lines are streaking kind of back and through towards the bottom, saying, I want it to be really foggy here in front of my main subject. So you've got two different color masks that you draw in here. And then as you play the action, then you see we are suddenly enveloped in fog.
Wow.
Or it can be an animated GIF, and
Gosh.
you can make moving fog. Let's try a couple more.
That's way
All right, so here we have water on this is a big
So
hotel.
for you people that
hotel
can't
lodge.
see this, you need to go online and look.
Yeah, here's a lodge. That's like a hotel lodge, and has a big pool out in front here. And here they've made the mask to cover the pool, and then they also have drawn these green lines on it to indicate where the fog should move. And so here's our static image, which looks it looks foggy, pretty good. And then as you animate it, then the fog is rising off the water, off the pool. So pretty cool stuff here. And you do need to look at this on the YouTube video to get a full appreciation for what these effects can do.
Because they're really, really good.
They are good. And like I say, it helps if you start with a really good photo, then you'll still end up with a good photo with a really cool effect. If you start with a really bad photo, you'll end up with a bad photo with a really
cool effect.
Probably saw that one coming. But anyway, one more here. So you need these images that are taken at night, or obviously they're gonna make a more effective fog effect if you're if you're looking at an image that kind of looks like fog could possibly be there. So if you're taking a picture of somebody in the bright sunlight, it's probably not really going to work so much with the fog effect. Might just look like smoke. Could look like forest fire, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it turns it to a whole new level when you get it into a moving GIF.
The other really nice thing about the about Graphic River, they show you tons of examples. So if you're going to spend your $5 or $6 that are hard-earned money, you want to know
what you're going to be getting.
Yeah, is this going to be suitable, for my my use here? And there's lots of effects, so you can get a really good feel. Plus, without even buying it, you can watch the tutorial on how to do it. Just in case you don't think the action, it would be worth the money. It's well worth it.
It's worth the money.
These are very complex. I mean, they can run for 20, 30, several minutes, depending on your computer, to get these running. All right, I got just one more.
I want to see you do one. Now I'm all excited.
Well, we'll have to do that next week.
Okay.
All right, so
What's the
I
next
got one more.
All right.
And see, I'm concentrating on the ones that have animation. There's lots of Photoshop actions that are cool, but the animated ones that produce the animated GIFs.
It brings it up a different step.
Yeah, that's if you have, you can put it on a website, or you could make it. You could do a video. If you do video editing, making these from still images is pretty awesome. All right, so let's look at one more here. And this one is the GIF Animated Sparkler Photoshop Action. So now you can take and you can draw on your image, and then you can make it sparkle like a sparkler. So here's what you're doing here. You got your image, and you just draw with a thin brush, you draw a mask in the shape of where you want the sparkler image. In this case, they've drawn a star against a wooden bench, and after you play the action, then it not only makes the star where you drew it, or the area, the design that you drew, looks like a sparkler, but it also kind of darkens the whole rest of the image. So now it looks like a night scene instead of an afternoon scene.
Wow.
Let's look at a few more of these examples here.
So it actually corrected the lighting.
Yeah, it's to make it convincing so that you would see where the light from the sparkler.
See, now, what's interesting with this one, though, is I like the image better than I like the GIF on this one.
Okay, and but you got your choice.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
You can do either way. See, yeah, this one doesn't really. But there it is. I think it would take the right image to be, successful in these.
Right.
But
yeah, that one works better. This is showing 2017. I do find it interesting that it actually darkens up the background, though.
Yeah, it kind of gives a vignette around the sparkled area. I imagine you can control that. Most of these are very customizable, where you can get in and it makes layers, and you can go in and tweak the layers to whatever you want. So here's one that's showing just kind of an afternoon scene of the harbor and the Statue of Liberty way in the background there.
Nothing exciting.
And they've just drawn a couple of little sparkles on there. And here they've made the sparklers go blue. So that's it just looks like sparklers over the water, which is different, So I mean, there's lots of things you can do with these. I'm just going to go. Here's one that they're drawing the NYC over the picture of New York City. Here's London. They've been drawing in sparklers. It kind of looks like a giant fireworks display that you had control over.
Huh.
All right. Well, I have taken up the first half of the podcast just blathering on about all these animated effects.
They're so cool.
Yeah, I think, if you got $30, $40 in your pocket, you could have all those, and
you could be playing for a week or two. Just have a good time.
You could come up with
playing.
some really good ideas.
Yeah. All my stuff now, I'm kind of okay, I don't have half as exciting of stuff. Have we talked about the Affinity Photo now that has gone to where it's finally open to not just Mac users? This is now open.
I think we have mentioned it a time or two.
Yeah. Now they've actually opened it to PC users.
So this is a Photoshop alternative,
right?
Essentially, this is
it is.
And this is by Serif.com, and this is called Affinity. AFFINITY.
And now available for Windows. It's prior has always been just available for Macs, and they finally brought it in to now it's available for.
And they also make Affinity Designer, which is kind of like an Adobe Illustrator type of clone.
And I think, as my memory serves me right, that this is quite inexpensive. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, it seems like it was around $50.
$50, yeah,
something
for
like that,
an actual app that does a lot of the stuff that Photoshop does.
Yeah, so for a few bucks, you can own this one in perpetuity, so to speak.
Right.
Okay, cool. Are you going to get that one and try it, or?
I had actually had their beta version of it and played with it for a bit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I am a Photoshop user, and it's strictly because that's where I started. I own a lot of different software, but I always find myself going back to Photoshop.
Yeah. Well, once you understand one program, then to switch there's a learning curve.
Yeah.
So that's
and it's got to have something that's really something special and out of the ordinary to make you switch and start using it solely.
Well, and if you switched, and I think before you gave up on one, you'd want to know, could it do everything that you normally used to doing in Photoshop? I don't know. Maybe it can. I'm not that up on it. But I'm glad to see competition.
Well, and a lot of people don't want to shell out big bucks for Photoshop. So
well, yeah, but it's not even big bucks anymore. It's just small bucks, but in perpetuity.
Yeah.
So you can get started with Photoshop for $10 a month. Before it was like $600. Back back in the way
You're still
back.
spending, $120 a year.
Well, true, but if you upgrade it every year to the latest and greatest version, I think you're still money ahead.
Maybe.
But of course, they are probably the upgrades aren't as spectacular as they once were as the program becomes more mature. All right, do you see this?
What?
This is from our friends at Petapixel.com. We also have a very good podcast that, when you have listened to all our episodes and you're voracious for something more, go listen to the Petapixel podcast. They're good too. Maybe even better than us.
No.
Could that be possible?
Oh, I don't think so.
Well, okay, let's not get crazy. They're good though. All right, so this is natural light versus flash versus high-speed sync. See the difference. So natural light versus just using your flash as fill in the daytime versus also using your flash and setting your shutter speed up to a very fast speed, such as 1,000th or 2,000th or 4,000th of a second, and controlling it so that your flash actually synchronizes at that speed, which they don't all do without some magic or special settings or capabilities in the flash. Anyway, so what is the difference? And so that's what this article is here. And this is a demo done by wedding photographer Daryl Ho-Shing. Hopefully I pronounced that right, Daryl. It's Ho-Shing. Daryl is spelled D-E-R-R-E-L. We'll link to this in the show notes. And so he shows you the difference between shooting with natural light, regular strobe, and high-speed sync. And of course, it's pretty cool. So you can take a look at this on our YouTube channel. I'll just scroll down here real quickly. But basically, I think he makes a convincing case for using high-speed sync. So you look at the background here in high-speed sync and how this is a man sitting on a bench looking down kind of Main Street, USA, and with an 85 millimeter f1.4 lens. So he's focused on the man sitting on the bench, and the background very nicely goes out of focus, at 85 millimeter 1.4. But that's the same with the flash. He's had to compromise that and use f5.6. So there's a little more sharpness in the background. Still not a bad shot.
Not a bad
but
shot.
Some of our the highlights in the background are kind of blown out. Particularly with natural light, you don't have any control over that at all. The background is very bright. And by using high-speed sync, he can bring the background tones down into much better register or a much darker tone, keeping his attention on the subject or the portrait of this gentleman here.
Okay, going back, it looks like on that last picture that you showed, it looks like he has it on off-camera flash to me.
It is. The flash is not on the camera.
Okay.
The flash is over to his right. If I
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Yeah, it's off the camera, and it's off to the right.
Show the picture so people can see.
Aiming at the model, and right there, 2 points for getting the flammer. 10 points for getting the flash off the camera. And moving it over to the side. It's a much more attractive look. You can see that in this image, the sun is coming pretty much directly into the camera. It looks like to me it's very bright over here in the right corner. So I think it's coming. Well, look at the shadows. It's coming that way.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm thinking that's where his flash is.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe. Of course, let's look at natural light. Natural light. Yeah, natural light is pretty diffused under there.
Yeah,
So.
I was looking at shadows like around his shoes and things to give an idea of where the...
Oh, yeah, good one, Rhonda.
Thank you.
Look at the shadows by the shoes. That tells you exactly where the flash is. It's over to the right.
Speaking of flash units, again, this is, we'll go with the Godox version of the same flash. This is the Godox Pocket Flash that they just recently have come up with.
And you can get the Godox ones on Amazon, and you can get the Adorama ones, which you can go ahead and show the Adorama site, because we are Adorama affiliates now.
This is the Adorama, virtually the same flash, made by Flashpoint, and very cool pocket flash.
So this thing is, the Flashpoint one is called the eVOLV 200 TTL Modular Strobe. So this is kind of a wacky little flash unit from what I'm looking at here. It's not designed to sit on the camera. It's designed to sit on a light stand.
On a light stand. So it's like a portable light stand type object.
Yeah, and it's kind of long and brick-like, maybe. And it's got two different flash heads. It's got a bare bulb flash head, and then it has a reflector standard type flash heads, so you can swap them on and off depending on your use.
On how you want to use. Here, this shows a perfect
And
example
these have
of how
the
they do it.
lithium batteries, so they're recharged and can shoot hundreds of flashes before you need to recharge them. They recycle very quickly.
And will sync with all the flash points.
Yeah, so the Godox, the X1 controllers, is that or the Flashpoint
Right.
equivalents, have the radio control, and they also have built-in through the lens metering, so you can set that up to shoot really automatically. Very, very nice little unit.
Yeah. And if you own the Godox, all the Godox sync with it too.
Yeah, if you're already into that system, then you already have the controller. And you can use this in combination with your other lights as well.
That's very cool. So
$329 from Adorama.
And look, the back of it reminds me of
Nice digital display.
your little digital displays, where you've got control of your lighting. So not a cheap thing, but again, a very portable type of light source.
Yeah. Does it say what the output is on that anywhere? We'll put a link to that in the show notes, and you can check out the features. I think it's right up there, powered with all the with the typical Godox. This I think is brighter than their flash units that they mount on the camera.
I'm thinking so too.
Click on that specs tab right above it there. See what that says.
Okay,
Specs.
Let's look.
And that should give you a watt-second power or some kind of a 200 watt seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, 200 watt seconds. So that's respectable. Very respectable. A lot of the on-camera flash units are right around the 50, 60 watt second.
So that's a
unit.
huge difference then.
Yeah, so it's much more powerful, as it should be for that type of a light where you're going to be using it in a studio type of situation.
Another thing on Rhonda's want list.
One more thing for Rhonda's want list.
Yeah, it's not like the little $5 actions, but
I know I had you there with those.
yeah,
the
you did.
$5.
You did.
$5 actions.
Well, and when you get into these systems, like I said, it's all about light.
Now, while you're talking about that particular unit, I noticed that our friends at Petapixel have already looked at it.
Really?
Yep, they were like, they're not just sleeping in Dusseldorf, and so they have hands-on with the new Godox AD200 Pocket Flash, and they have a
what's going on, guys? It's Robert.
And they've got a video on here.
Yeah, this is the equivalent of the same unit.
Yeah, it's just the Godox branded instead of the Adorama branded, but it's the same unit. And so essentially their review is quite positive of this, and we'll link to this in the show notes so you can take a look at this system and how it. This could be something that if you're looking for an extra flash unit to trigger remotely. Look at all the accessories you can get with this.
Yeah,
this is like a little studio setup and something that's small enough to fit into your camera bag. So
easy to transport with you out into the field,
Mm-hmm.
especially since it's battery
Here's a nice
operated.
size comparison. Okay, so if you look at the your typical flash unit here, and then there's the Godox it's a little bit longer, a little bit chunkier, and then here if you have the Godox Witstro or the one that has the bare bulb in the conventional case, that's quite a bit bigger unit by itself. But these I think have roughly the same power on those too. All right, so we'll link to this in the show notes so you can take a look at that, and Rhonda can put it on her want list.
On my want list.
And you know what time it is.
Already?
Yeah.
Wow.
We powered through that one again.
We did.
All right, everybody.
Okay.
Have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you next time.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Cool Photo Tools podcast. Sign up for our mailing list at coolphototools.com. Got a question? Send an email or MP3 audio file to info@coolphototools.com. Thanks for listening.